I already did. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Howie. Hi, team. So we are really happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us. I'm Nabil Masri. I'm looking after the Middle East. I'm joined by Rudiger Hartmann, our pre-sales technical account manager, and Howie and Ala from the Cisco team. Over the coming 45 minutes, we will spend some time to show you what's new on Webex Calling, the latest releases, and then how Kurmi and Flow specifically can really enhance the experience, the admin experience, and we show practical ways, demos on how we jointly can provide you a better management experience on managing both on-prem and cloud environments. So let's jump into the agenda. So as I said earlier, we're gonna start, Cisco is gonna spend some time explaining what's new and what's coming for Webex Calling and where the UC market is heading. Then we'll get into the practical side with Kurmi, automating the move to Webex Calling, with Flow migration. And then we're gonna show how we can manage hybrid environments where you can run on-prem and cloud side by side. And then finally, we're gonna be touching base on the zero-touch provisioning and management, connecting Flow and all the user environment with ServiceNow. Finally, we'll be closing with Q&A. You have a specific Q&A tab. Feel free to drop your questions along the way. We have some time at the end to answer any question that you might have. So let's start with you, Howie. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Nabil, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. Thank you for taking time to join us in this webinar. The purpose of today is really two things. I want to take a little bit of time at Cisco just to share with you some of the latest news and updates around Webex Calling and the most recent announcements that we've made in this space. And then also demonstrate how the Cisco Kurmi partnership can help you in your journey towards cloud workloads. Sharing on screen is just a little bit of informational data about Cisco's calling market leadership. We continue to demonstrate strong global market leadership. We are trusted by millions of users across both cloud and on-premise environments. We now support over 50 million Webex cloud users, and we have more than 16 million Webex calling users on our platform used daily. Our cloud user base exceeds over 100 million. We've shipped over 100 million calling devices, and we handle more than 8 billion calls monthly, and we serve this in excess of 170 markets. We can't keep up with the numbers. As soon as we publish a stat, it's already out of date. With the recent announcements, we are expanding into additional markets, which I'll touch on a little bit later. Basically, what I want to communicate with you is these numbers reflect the scale, the trust, and the reliability that makes Webex Calling a leader in the industry. Nabil, if you go to the next slide, please. And our leadership isn't just reflected in the numbers that we share with you. It's also validated by various industry analysts, whether it's Aragon or Forrester or Gartner. Pick your analyst. You'll find that Webex Calling and our cloud SaaS solutions is consistently recognized as a leader across both cloud and on-premise calling markets. And this is reinforcing our position as a trusted forward-looking partner for enterprise customers. We are a cloud-first company, but not cloud only. We are very committed still to the premise business as well as hybrid deployments to essentially meet US customers on a journey wherever you are today. Can we go next one, please? So for us also, reliability is core to what we deliver. Over the past 24 months, Webex Calling has maintained a historical uptime of 5 nines, and this truly is the gold standard for enterprise communications that everybody is striving for. And really, this level of consistency is what giving our customers the confidence to run their business critical operations on our Webex Calling and cloud SaaS platforms. Next slide, please, Nabil. And this is probably the one that I'll spend the most time on. At Cisco Live US last month, we've made a series of really exciting announcements across 3 pillars. AI innovation being front and center, like all technology companies do these days. Also, the second was around administration, security, and resilience. And the third pillar is around our expanding market access. So on the AI innovation front, we've introduced new AI agents for collaboration. These are essentially custom voice agents for practically any use case. And this is built and managed through a AI agent studio. We're also very excited to announce the general availability of our Webex Calling AI Receptionist, as well as the upcoming availability of the new translator agent. Also, the AI assistant for Webex Calling is also GA now, GA meaning generally available, and across the portfolio. And in Q3, as I mentioned, this next 3 months, we will be bringing a new translator agent that will be, and we also launched a beta for text queues. That is essentially allowing us to service customers through SMS and WhatsApp messaging, through text queues with agents that can service these. These innovations really, continue to embed intelligence directly into the calling experience, and it's helping businesses to automate and enhance customer interactions. We've also partnered with Pindrop, and this allows us to bring enhanced deep fake detection and synthetic voice attack detection into our portfolio. And this is becoming a more and more critical capability as voice threats are starting to evolve, in the AI landscape. We're also continuing to expand our market reach. We have now global availability in over 200 markets, with calling resiliency and residency options outside of the US, in Canada, in Europe, and Australia. And we've added newly Saudi Arabia and India with a regulated offer to the portfolio. Also coming in FY27 will be expanded reach into areas such as Japan and other Asian countries. Next slide, please, Nabil. And I want to just take a quick moment and run you through a quick demo video to see the Cisco Webex Calling AI Receptionist that we've just announced in action. Basically, in this demo, which is about a minute long, you will see how we use the AI receptionist to handle calls, to manage scheduling, to provide like a seamless, intelligent front door experience for your business, all without human interaction. And this takes a few minutes to set up in your environments. Can you please play the video for us, Nabil? You're on mute, by the way. Thanks.
Thanks for calling Florissa Dental. I'm your AI receptionist. How can I help you today?
Hi, yes, I have a toothache and I'd like to schedule an appointment. But first, I want to make sure that you accept U.S. insurance.
Yes, we do. U.S. insurance is covered 100%. Would you like to speak to an insurance specialist? Or are you ready to schedule an appointment?
I'd like to go ahead and schedule an appointment. Thank you.
Great. I'll transfer you to a nurse who will give you an initial consultation and help to schedule your appointment.
Thank you. Deliver outstanding customer service. AI receptionist. Available later this year is now to Webex Calling.
Thank you, really good, Nabil. This is available now. This is an earlier video, and this capability takes merely a few minutes to set up. We can essentially build a knowledge base for your AI receptionist using text information, PDF documents, Word documents, any data sources. And coming very soon, we'll be able to integrate this with backend CRM systems and other platforms to be able to provide even more capabilities. So this is the Webex Calling AI Receptionist. It's GA and available today. Next, I would like to show you a quick demonstration about the upcoming real-time translation, the AI real-time translation agent. And essentially what this demo will highlight is how Webex Calling can break down language barriers instantly by enabling, effective communication for teams that might be operating global with global customers. And it will allow us to, in real time, translate between spoken languages. This demo is about 2.5 minutes long. Let's cue it and give you an idea of what this real-time translation AI agent is all about.
Business is global and so are your customers. But language barriers, well, they can derail customer service or drive staffing costs out of control. That's where the translator agent steps in. See, Webex translates voice in real time while preserving your tone and your emotion, so your employees, well, they can connect with any customer in multiple languages instantly and personally. I'm planning a scenic road trip through France, and I want to make sure there's a child seat for my little one in the rental car. Normally, I'd be put on hold while the rental desk searches for someone who understands me, or I'd hang out wondering if my request got lost in translation. But with Translator Agent, this interaction is seamless. Hi, this is Rob Boyd. I'm renting a car on July 15th, and I want to make sure that there's a child seat installed in the car. See, the rental staff, who speaks French, answer the call in the Webex app and hear the request in their language. Hi, this is Rob. Bonjour, ici Rob. Je vous voiture le 15 juillet et je voudrais m'assurer qu'un siège au fond soit installé dans le véhicule. Now this is really cool. The employee responds in French, and Translator Agent instantly translates their response into English for me.
Bonjour, Monsieur Boyd. Hello, Mr. Boyd. Yes, your request for a car seat is confirmed. We'll have it ready when you arrive. We look forward to greeting you.
Amazing, right? There's no confusion, no language barriers, just 5-star service delivered by your existing, highly trained staff. Translator Agent is coming soon for Webex Calling, Meetings, and Contact Center. It will support 6 languages at launch, with more to come soon. From retail and travel to healthcare and financial services, Webex is how businesses connect with customers across languages.
Thank you, Nabil. So these are two very exciting capabilities that Translator Agent will be hitting us very soon. Look out for the beta coming up next month, and the AI Receptionist, as I mentioned, is already available. Just moving on, as we think about the future of our device portfolio, it's really important to also understand how our firmware has evolved. Our traditional firmware has been enterprise firmware that supported the traditional on-premise UCM deployments. And it was really designed for an era when communications were in-house, not accessed over the public internet. And this led us to also look into how we expanded our footprint, and we developed MPP, or multi-party firmware, that allows us to use a cloud-oriented firmware built for Webex calling initially, but it was offering a cloud-based feature set and allowed us to create a separation between premise and cloud deployments, as well as support third-party call control platforms. So MPP served a great need. However, you still had migration from enterprise to cloud firmware and vice versa. We needed a universal experience, and this is where Cisco is leading into next. We've introduced a new firmware set for our endpoints, which is called Phone OS, aligned to our Room OS operating suite. And basically, this unifies the experience across both cloud and enterprise, cloud and on-premise deployments. It brings AI capabilities. It is bringing security into the deployments, as well as simplified administration and new experiences, like, for example, the ability to join Teams, Webex, Zoom meetings directly from these Phone OS endpoints. This reduces complexity, a universal firmware image that is cloud and premise ready, and it minimizes the firmware fragmentation, and creates a much more consistent phone experience across, the different environments as we move from premise to hybrid to cloud. Next slide, please, Nabil. And then, if we think about I started speaking about photos without this. This unified approach is going to give us, flexibility to deploy whether we are on cloud or on premise. Everything will be under one single pane of glass from a management point of view, that being Control Hub for our management, our maintenance, for our analytics. And this new Phone OS generation is going to simplify life greatly for both customers and partners doing these deployments and migrations. We also provide 1,000 eyes integration, and with this integration, we provide comprehensive network visibility, proactive issue resolution, as well as centralized device management, something that was not possible with the traditional legacy enterprise firmware. And also, finally, these deployments will also support effortless zero-touch provisioning. This makes it really easy, at scale across the organization, which is on point for what we'll be discussing today, with Kurmi Flow. Next slide, please. Just briefly want to introduce to you, if you're not aware, our Cisco 9800 series audio phones. These are our phone OS generation phones. These are the new 9800 series audio phones. They're really designed for any work styles, with 6 different models available. We have, starting from the left, the entry-level 9811, then the 9841, 51, 61, 71, which has a touch display, and we've introduced a new wireless phone, that's the Cisco 9821. These are audio devices, audio series phones, and they are a complete range that covers both Webex calling in the cloud, as well as on-premise UCM deployments on this universal phone OS series image. Firmware, excuse me. The next slide is, the Cisco 8875 is our video-based phone OS endpoint, and it brings together not just calling, but also meetings and hot desking in a single device. It features, intelligent audio, noise cancellation removal, a built-in 1080p camera with a privacy shutter, one button to push meeting join experiences on Teams, on Webex, as well as Zoom directly from a phone endpoint, and it supports, the automatic firmware updates and the next generation hot desking, all managed through a single platform like with Webex Control Hub. And then the next slide, please, Nabil. This, now, brings me to why we are here today on the webinar. And I'd like to just talk briefly about, how we can help customers get to cloud efficiency. We have a very long-standing partnership with Kurmi dating back more than a decade. And through our partnership with Kurmi, customers can reduce their migration time and costs by as much as up to 70%. With Kurmi, they provide a single pane of glass for centralized operations, managing on-premise, managing Webex calling, managing multi-tenant, managing dedicated instance, as well as third-party platforms such as Microsoft. And this is all done in one place. This includes user provisioning, phone number management, bulk operations, etc., to accelerate your migration while reducing the costs and efforts. They also bring, strong admin control, as well as role-based access, log tracking, rollback, self-service portals, everything you need to move at your own pace and, do phased migrations. Kurmi also complements the Webex Control Hub in a deep way, and it's aligned very closely with Cisco's own migration and ongoing, UC administration capabilities. So with that, I'd like to thank you for listening to me for 10 minutes, and I'd like to hand this over to Kurmi team. They're going to go much deeper into their migration tools and solutions that they are offering. Thanks, Nabil. Over to you.
Thanks so much, Kai, for these great insights and information. It's always great to hear from you the latest Webex updates. So going back to Kurmi, we'll give a brief understanding of who we are for those who doesn't know us. So we've been in the market for over now 15 years. The main bread and butter of what we do is simplifying complex use environments. This is what we've been doing for more than a decade, along with Cisco, very deep Cisco partnership. And we take pride that we are now global. We have offices in North America, EMEA, and APJ. Of course, we have presence in the UAE and Riyadh, as most of you know. And we currently manage more than 5 million users through Flow, which is a huge number. Well, we're of course available on the Cisco price list, and we are Cisco certified partner for migrations as well. So why we're here today, we would like to, picture that into 3 different pillars. The first one is that we know that migrations are slow. Companies, they have started moving to the cloud, but just is slower than expected, because it turns out that it's not just a copy-paste. It takes some time and effort to move property from on-prem to cloud. The second thing that we've seen on the market is that multi-systems are becoming the norm. I'm not talking here only about UC, but most companies, they run along with the collaboration solutions, contact center, recording, billing solutions, and third-party tools, as I mentioned, Microsoft Teams, they might be running Zoom. They must have an expert in each one of these solutions. So therefore, managing this multi-system is not easy. And third, the manual administration is becoming expensive because you have a multi-vendor environment with multi-systems. You've got a lot of different service requests and number assignments, and at the end, it just adds up. So if any of those things or challenges sound familiar to you, on this session, we're intending to remove exactly this sort of friction. Okay? That being said, let's start with our main offering, which is Flow. So what's Flow? Think of it like an automation layer that will sit across your whole collaboration stack. So as you see here, on the bottom, we'll start by connecting with all the UC environment and third-party solutions, such as recording, billing on all the on-premise Cisco environment, cloud, Webex calling, or Webex calling MT or DI. And the idea is to unify all these systems within a single platform. The second step that we take is to connect with IT business systems such as ServiceNow, ITSM tools, PMC Remedy, Manage Engine, or directories. The idea will be to trigger those workflows from these business solutions, and then Kurmi, or Flow in that case, will take care of managing and talking to all the collaboration stack that we've got over there. And then let's start talking about migrations, specifically from on-premise to Webex calling. What we like to think about it is that the philosophy that we have is, let's take a holistic approach. Let's see migration as a whole journey. So in order to do that, we get the full picture before we move. We provide a single portal for you to manage the whole migration journey. So there is nothing, you will see nothing as a surprise once you migrate. We eliminated the manual work where you will have to extract many things from the on-premise, normalize some parameters through Excel, etc. What we provide you is a portal where you extract everything from the source portal, and then you rebuild and map everything from the same portal without leaving or moving from one portal to another. And then once everything is validated, normalized, and all the rules are in place, you can migrate at your own pace. Most migrations, what we see, they are not a Cisco problem. They are a data and process problem. And that's exactly what this platform intends to solve. And we'll see that through a demo that my colleague Rudiger will be showing us on how we can migrate a customer from on-premise to cloud. So Rudiger, feel free to take over.
All right. I want to walk you through a demo video from our flow migration tool that is dedicated for migrations. We differentiate between a dedicated migration and a hybrid or multi-technology system in Flow, where we provision multiple systems at the same time, combining Webex calling with Microsoft Entra ID, for instance, and a magical application server or call recording whatsoever. This video here is describing the dedicated migration from CUCM on-prem to Webex calling. And this is part of the dCloud demo lab we have together with Cisco. So you can go onto the dCloud, and currently there is still the former version in the catalog, but in the next couple of days, we will have this latest version uploaded into dCloud as well. So you can get exactly this video and watch the full around about 12 minutes, 11:39 minutes. We don't look at all the 12 minutes here. I just want to show you the highlights. So of course we start by initializing the demo. I'm doing the demo, the migration. So this is the start where you create the migration, you define the source cluster, and you define the target. We can migrate from a CUCM on-prem cluster to another CUCM cluster, being it on-prem or being it in the Cisco cloud, in the Cisco Webex cloud. And we can do this stupidly, but just copying or cloning it, which is maybe if you have a multi-cluster environment, you want to consolidate into multiple clusters into a single one, you might be just needing to clone, copy a CUCM cluster, but that is not the intelligent purpose I want to show here. So for today, we look into the migration of a CUCM configuration into Webex Calling. And this means we need to extract the configuration from the CUCM cluster, understand the configuration, and then translate it and push it into Webex Calling, which is a different way to of course, provision and configure. So let's quickly just see how we add here the IP addresses and or the DNS names of the target address for the API to connect to, give it a name, and then we start the discovery, meaning we now start extracting the data from the given CUCM. We collect all the configuration, and we can define so-called mappings to understand the configuration and to identify maybe locations or groups or whatever. So in this example, we start searching for locations by device pools, and then once the discovery finds the data, finds the information, it will suggest some locations. And let me just move into this here. And we will find, in this example, we will find 3 locations based on the site ID, location, or device pool, depending on how the mapping is done, the configuration on the CUCM is done. And now, this is a demo of just 3 locations, but imagine you have a big organization with tens or hundreds of locations and groups. So you can just mark single locations or a subset of locations for being migrated, or in our case, we will just mark all of them to again validate and allocate and understand. So in our example, we will just select all of the 3 locations as being shall be migrated to the Webex Calling. And now, giving this information, we will start to reallocate and understand the configuration based on the given scope here. And I will jump ahead again. Sorry for the mess. It's tough to get. Yeah, here we go. This is what I wanted to show. So after the discovery and the given scope of, let's look for these 3 locations, we will find some issues, more or less, right? If you have a very clean configuration on your CUCM, of course, you will not find many issues, but we all know reality, there will always be some mismatches. In this case, at least, the 3 locations are not yet configured on the Webex side, so we need to define those locations. And we can do this in the migration tool. So we don't have to log into the control app and create the locations. We can do this in the migration tool, and then the migration tool will take care of creating these locations within Webex and then start moving and pushing the data into these locations. Right? And then there might be some license missing. There is still some users that need advanced pro licenses, and there is a CSS not mapping, and there is also some, there is a country, we need to define a country as well, and some other issues. We can all work on these issues within the tool, right? We can review the objects, work and correct the issues, and then mark them as fixed or even ignore them. If we find out, well, we don't need whatsoever, we can even say disable the rule and clear the issue and ignore it and move on, right? So I don't want to move you through all the fixes here, just move quickly forward and just show one example of just creating the location. Where is it? Come on, move forward. We move all of this. And here we go. This is an example of creating the site, the location within the tool for Microsoft. So it's a Webex location. We use the country default options, and then we put all the details in the fields here and continue running this. And once we have worked on all the issues, we start a revalidation again, and then eventually get to the point where we only get final warnings. Let me just jump forward ahead here. This should be, and now we only find warnings. There are some CDI ports in this. There are some recording profiles and conference bridges and stuff. We could still review or acknowledge that we saw these warnings and we can take care of them or can live with them forever, right? So we acknowledge the warnings finally, and then get to the point where we can start. So now we have prepared the migration tool to run the full migration. Now we can start preparing the sites. Again, we discovered and we prepared the system to migrate all the 3 sites. And yet, still, we are in the position to say, well, okay, so we validated 3 sites, but we only want to migrate the first site for now in this first step, maybe on the first weekend. So this is the point where we can then say, yeah, we prepared everything, but for now, just do one site. But in this example, of course, we want to migrate all of the 3 sites. So we start preparing all of the 3 sites. And so we load again the information. And now we take all the information into the tool, revalidate, and make sure that everything goes smoothly. And once we did the preparation, we are ready to load and push the configuration for all the sites we have selected into the Webex calling part. And eventually, once we have finished this, we move the configuration into Webex calling. And in real life, we have an older video where we show the source and the destination as well, before and after. In this video, we don't see the Webex control hub. But again, this is part of the dCloud flow migration lab. So you can go ahead and try it yourself and see how this would work. And eventually, we have migrated all the 3 sites.
So Rudiger, if you had to do this manually, how much time did you just save, a customer or a partner here?
Well, it depends of course, it depends on the complexity of the configuration of your CUCM, the issues you find. You can count this, or you can track this in hours, maybe days, it depends. And with this, a single cluster can be migrated in about an hour.
Amazing. Thank
you. You can count this in minutes. Right. This demo is about 11, let's say 12 minutes, and this is just for a test CUCM. So moving this test CUCM manually will take you about an hour, and we do this in 12 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. So going back to the 70% that you initially mentioned, how here are some examples that we have deployed. We have deployed our migration solution. We have 3 fairly large examples. At least the smallest one has almost 10,000 devices. And the whole project, the first one, it took around 10 days, including 4 days of data load. But the interesting part of all these different examples that we are showing is that none of the engineers who worked on those projects, they had experience using flow migration. So what we want to say is that the learning curve is not very steep. It can be learned quite quickly how to use flow migration. And then because everything is streamlined within a single portal. All the issues can be solved without leaving the platform, and then you will not get errors after migrating because you have full visibility of what are you going to migrate and the issues you might be encountering before migrating. So you solve everything and then you migrate safely. Okay. And then moving forward into the hybrid user management, we have seen how we migrate to Webex calling, but of course we know and we acknowledge that there are some customers that they are still currently on hybrid management on premise and cloud, and they might still be there for several months or years. And we are here to provide them a better experience on how to manage these environments. So as we can see here, with Flow, you can manage both Cisco on-premise and Webex calling MT or DI from the same interface. And the key message here is that, again, hybrid is in a failure state is something that you can stay there and for as long as you need. And then eventually you can still use Flow to migrate to Webex calling. Here is one example of a customer who's been on an hybrid state with Webex calling empty and Call Manager on premise. They've got roughly 16,000 knowledge workers, and the use case here is that they had somehow disjointed IT workflow onboarding. Not only onboarding, but number management was an issue, the lack of visibility on the extensions they had to assign, and they had to manually write back the extensions that directory. After implementing Flow, the outcomes were quite clear. The time they spent to manage their platform went down at least by 50%. They got rid of the spreadsheets. We all hate spreadsheets to track the IDs. And because they had ServiceNow, we integrated with ServiceNow, and because their tickets were now automated, of course, their MTTR went down dramatically, and they had fully 100% compliant with their SLAs. And at the end of the day, you free up your senior UC experts for more important tasks rather than managing their daily management. And that being said, let's see how Flow can manage this in action with a hybrid environment where we have Cisco on-premise and Webex calling empty in a single platform.
So now we're looking at the Flow portal, and this is our homepage. It is widget driven, where we consolidate hopefully valid information of the provisioning part and the organization and how we provision the users. We have two concepts here. One, of course, is not of course, but one is the department, the departments we call them. So the organizational structure, usually location based, and so you have, in my example, I'm working on a company that is, in this example, that is multinational, but I will focus on Saudi Arabia with 2 locations, Riyadh and Jeddah for now. And the second concept is the user packages. You can understand packages as service profiles or user profiles, depending on the role. Being an agent, you need certain services from a contact center, a call recording, whatnot. Being a supervisor, of course you can manage agents, but they can also be technology driven, meaning if I assign a Webex calling package, I will provision all the Webex calling services or the communication services based on the technology of Webex calling. Same if it's CUCM based. And just imagine we're a part of this company where we just migrated 3 locations from CUCM to Webex calling. And in this hybrid situation, or in this hybrid example, I want to show that we can still manage this environment at the same time. So we still have locations based on a calling platform like this CUCM. And we also have locations that use Webex already. And if you migrate location by location or group by group, step by step over a period of time, I have a couple of customers who do this like imagine you have 70,000 employees and you migrate 1,000 users a week, right? You can do the math. This takes you a couple of weeks to eventually migrate all of your users from CUCM to Webex Calling. If you don't do it in one shot with the migration tool, if you want to do it gracefully during your work. So now this video will demonstrate how we can deal with a situation where we have locations where we still run the CUCM, but also have locations which are already migrated to Webex Calling, right? And by just assigning the packages, meaning if I have a user with a CUCM package and I reapply the package with Webex Calling, then we change the configuration from CUCM to Webex in a, well, not a single click, but maybe 3 clicks, or automatically triggered by an ITSM or a directory attribute. Right? So now let's have a look. Out of these 40 employees, 3 are in Saudi Arabia. And of course, here I can see all my users on the system, but let me log in as the department administrator for Saudi Arabia and see my 3 users, right, in Saudi, Jeddah, and in Jeddah and Riyadh. So all my users, I have 3, Carolyn, Angela, and John. And if I look at my Active Directory, I see these, so Angela and Carolyn and John, they're okay. So they are provisioned. I see them in the directory and I see them on the CUCM or in Webex Calling. But I have Gary, Joe, and Marlo. They're marked, their status is to create because I can't find them on the CUCM or on in Webex Calling. So I can now manually, because in this example, we don't have auto creation, so we don't do a zero-touch deployment. I have them marked as to create, so I can manually pick Joe and start provisioning Joe. He shall start in Jeddah. There is no phone number yet provisioned, so I can quickly create this user, and now automatically I get the phone number assigned based on the location. So for Jeddah, I have a number range and extension defined for Webex Calling. So in Jeddah, we use Webex Calling. And but if I change the location and say, well, what if Joe would start in Riyadh, then the system detects already that in Riyadh, we still use the CUCM cluster. And here we have 2 packages, basic and advanced. So in Riyadh, I couldn't assign a Webex Calling package because I defined the system in this way. And in Jeddah, I couldn't assign a CUCM package, right? So here we can control that even if it's a wanted situation that we have the headquarter running a dedicated CUCM cluster, but all the branches they use Webex Calling, for instance, we can prepare the system to work accordingly. So all the admins, the local admins that are not CCIE voice, they just use the system and do the right thing because we guide them to do so. So here on the CUCM, I get only my extension for now, and I click apply. And with a single click, or well, 2 clicks, I have successfully provisioned Joe with a basic CUCM package that includes a line, the telephony service with line, and a Jabber for desktop. Now, this was by mistake. He shall start in Jeddah, but me as the local admin, I don't have the right to change the package or to change the location, to move users between locations. So here I can't change the department. I need to go back to my manager, so the company admin, and he will now search for Joe, and he has the right to change the package, and he has even more actions he could perform. So now changing the location from Riyadh to Jeddah will automatically mark and warn that there is no CUCM package for Jeddah. So I need to switch to calling. And if we would trigger this, and here I get my associated phone number out of the number range, and I can click apply. And with this single move, I have, with a single change, I have moved the user from one location to another, plus I changed the technology behind it, right? So this takes a moment because it's a real Webex tenant that we provision here. So we need to wait for the Webex Cloud to respond. It's not always as quick as the local CUCM, but this is just a couple of seconds, and here we go. Now we have successfully provisioned the user in Webex Calling, and here you see the package that includes the Webex service, and I could activate even more services out of for this Webex user, like being a pickup group member, sorry, or add virtual lines, add a device by just clicking on the plus. And so this is easy for any local admin here. And everything we do, we track in tickets. Of course, the creation was tracked, and then a couple of seconds later, the changing the package. And if we look into this ticket, we see all the details, all the stuff that would happen with this single click, right? So all the changes performed. We modified Joe from CUCM to Webex Calling. We changed his phone number. We removed the telephony service and all the configuration on the CUCM. We changed the Active Directory entry for his phone number and the location. So this can be also triggered by the location attribute in the directory. So HR could change the location if Joe changes his job from and the job location. We would find the location in the attribute. We would say, well, oh, now he has to move to to Jeddah, and then the change of technology is always say a collateral damage, but it's an enhanced feature, meaning we take care automatically. We automatically take care of changing the technology using the right calling platform depending on the location, right? So we change the CUCM. We remove the calling partition and the Jabber configuration, and we create Joe in the Webex Calling Control Hub, including his profile. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Rudiger, for the nice demo. It's always impressive. By the way, just to mention that the same change package that he has performed to move an employee from on-premise call manager to Webex Calling empty, it can be done to move someone from Microsoft Teams to Webex Calling. So it's the same change package. We just change because we can connect to several technologies. It can be applied to move from one vendor to another easily. And then to the last part, the ServiceNow integration. I mean, we were extending this piece of automation beyond, we call the collaboration team, into the broader enterprise IT workflows. So with that, by integrating Flow with the ServiceNow, you can bring your UC provisioning into the workflows that your company already run. So whether it's through an AI agent, the service catalog, or something custom, we can close the UC provisioning gap. The manual step where a ticket lands on someone and it still has to go to configure the use system by hand, you can integrate this through our API or install the pre-built app that we've got from ServiceNow. And by the way, here we're talking about ServiceNow because we've got, again, as I said earlier, a pre-built app, but we can in fact connect with any ITSM tool as long as they have an open API. So we've got several use cases, but at the end, what we look into is that, okay, let's sit with you, with the company, what are the tickets that they are mostly requested in terms of volume, and then we agree, let's automate those tickets. Those can be tickets that they are already, or use cases that they are already available on ServiceNow app, and if they are not, we can easily create new use cases. At the end, it's just a matter of API integration. And with that, we have the last demo left, which is, I think, the most exciting one because it touches a little bit on the agentic AI capabilities, where we can integrate Flow with the agentic AI capabilities that ServiceNow has built in. We've got a video here, and I will hand over to Rudiger to speak over the video.
Yeah. So the good part of this is we demo this with the AI agent from ServiceNow, but any any AI agent from ITSM tools could talk to our side of the agent as well. And this is an example of how this interaction is more, let's say, a human communication, a human-like communication, right? So we just tell the service now that Chuck has joined our team, or has joined my team in this case, of course, and the agent is checking, oh, your team, where is your team located? And we find out there are a couple of locations possible where your team is across, and I tell him, well, he's based in the US, so probably then the agent finds out, well, he probably might want to join Huntsville or New Orleans. And I tell him, yes, New Orleans, you're right. I could have told you in the beginning, but I just let you figure it out, right? So then the agent finds out, well, in New Orleans, we have a couple of technologies we could use for the communication. And of course, we want to have Webex calling, right? So yeah, fine, we use Webex calling. And in Webex calling, we can give Chuck a phone number. So how about this one? And we say, do you have a nicer one? Maybe the one he can easily remember, right? And then, yes, of course, you can pick a number, pick out of the list I provide you, and just tell me, right? And oh, nice, let's do the 555. Let's pick number 5, and here we go. So this is an example of how the API is used in a more human way in a chat interaction. But imagine if you plug this into a workflow, then all the interface implementation doesn't have to take place, because the agents are communicating with each other. And if there is something not clear, they can check back with you as the ops admin or whatever.
Thank you, Ruf. 4 different pillars that we discussed today. The first is that we overcome sprawl. The fact that you need to shuffle through different portals, through different provisioning and management platforms are gone. You only need to log into Flow, and then you manage your whole collaboration stack. And then, of course, because of this simplicity that we bring, at the end, we're gonna be boosting your efficiency, your team's efficiency, because it's only one portal and most of the tasks are automated. They can take care of more important projects rather than managing their UC daily tasks. And because of this single portal, we by default or natively enhance the security, especially if you talk about the highly governed environment like banking, oil and gas, and government sectors. This is very important for them. Role-based access control, which is very granular, SSO signing within the platform, and the audits and tracking all the action that are happening in the platform are something that it's native for us. It's built in. And lastly, we believe that you are a future-proof strategy. Now you are on the Webex. You are perhaps today on Call Manager. You might be tomorrow on Webex Calling. You can still use Kurmi to manage your day-to-day task on your collaboration stack. That being said, we are right. I mean, a bit late on time, but of course, if you got any question, you would like a demo, feel free to scan this QR code. Contact us. We are reachable on Webex, by phone, email. You can reach out to us or to the Cisco team. We'll be more than happy to support you.
Thank you, Nabil. Thank you to all the attendees. Just want to mention that we will share the summary and highlights of this webinar along with its recording after the session for those who want to review it or for those who were not able to attend. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Howie, and the Cisco team for allowing us this session. I think it was a great collaboration, and we look forward to collaborate together. Thank you, everyone who has joined the session as well.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.